They told you to follow the rules, trust the system, and play your part. But what if the very rules you follow are the chains that hold you back? Every do this, not that, every fear of standing out, it's not by accident. Society has built a system designed to keep you in line, weak, and dependent. And the worst part, most people never realize they're trapped. If you've ever felt there's more to life than this, you're not imagining it. The truth will shock you, and once you see it, there's no going back. You wake up, go to school or work, follow your routine, and believe you're living freely. But have you ever stopped to wonder if this so-called freedom is just an illusion? Think about it. Why does school teach you to obey instead of question? Why does work reward compliance over creativity? And why does society glorify playing it safe while quietly discouraging risk-taking? From the moment you're born, you're placed on a track designed to keep you in line. You're told what success looks like, what happiness should feel like, and even how to measure your worth. Step out of this mold, and suddenly you're labeled as reckless or rebellious. It's not freedom, it's control disguised as opportunity. The harsh truth: this system wasn't built to empower you, it was built to keep you dependent. Once you start seeing the patterns in school curriculums, workplace hierarchies, and cultural norms, it becomes clear. You're not living your own life, you're following a script written for you. But the question is, are you ready to break free? To understand how society keeps you weak, we must first go back to its origins. Friedrich Nietzsche had a term for this phenomenon: herd morality. In his view, society was never designed to foster strength or individuality. Instead, it was built to protect the weak by suppressing the strong. Centuries ago, humans lived in a world where strength, cunning, and independence determined survival. Leaders weren't chosen for their humility. They rose because of their power, intelligence, or vision. But as groups of people grew larger and civilizations began to form, fear of the strong took hold. The masses, the herd, as Nietzsche called them, realized they could control the powerful by rewriting the rules. This is where slave morality came into play, a concept Nietzsche fiercely criticized. It was the morality of the oppressed, designed to make weakness a virtue and strength a vice. Traits like humility, obedience, and self-sacrifice were elevated, while ambition, pride, and self-reliance were demonized. Through religion, governments, and educational systems, this morality was cemented into society, ensuring that the individual's strength would always yield to the group's comfort. Take religion as an example. The promise of salvation often depended on submission. Obey authority, deny your instincts, and suppress your desires. Nietzsche saw this as a deliberate attempt to control the will of the strong by shaming their natural drive for power. Similarly, governments crafted laws not to promote fairness, but to ensure that the powerful couldn't upset the status quo. Education, too, plays a subtle but significant role in this suppression. Think back to your school days. Were you encouraged to question the system, or were you taught to follow the rules? Most educational systems reward conformity and obedience while penalizing curiosity and independence. The goal isn't to create free thinkers, but to produce workers who fit neatly into the societal machine. Nietzsche's philosophy challenges this deeply ingrained structure. He argued that true freedom requires breaking away from herd morality. Instead of conforming, the individual must embrace their inner strength, even if it means standing alone. This is the essence of Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch, or overman, a person who rises above societal constraints and lives by their own values. But here's the kicker. The system works so well that most people don't even see it. The weak are conditioned to believe that their submission is virtuous, while the strong are shamed into suppressing their power. It's a trap so deeply embedded in our history that it feels natural. The question you have to ask yourself is this: are you living by your own rules, or by rules designed to keep you tame? And if it's the latter, are you ready to rewrite them? From the moment you're born, you're placed on a conveyor belt designed to keep you dependent. Society presents a set path. Go to school, get a job, buy things to feel happy, and retire quietly. It sounds harmless, maybe even logical. But underneath this structure lies a carefully crafted system that keeps you compliant, complacent, and dependent. Let's start with schooling. Education claims to prepare you for success, but what does it actually teach? Sit still, follow instructions, and don't question authority. Schools reward obedience, not creativity. Think about it. Were you ever taught how to think for yourself, or were you told what to think? The grading system itself is designed to rank you, not empower you. You learn to chase approval, first from teachers, later from bosses, turning you into a cog in a much bigger machine. Then comes the workplace, where the illusion of choice takes center stage. You're told you can achieve anything with hard work, but most jobs keep you in a cycle of dependence. Paychecks are just enough to meet your needs, but never enough to give you true freedom. Promotions dangle like carrots, keeping you tied to the system. Even entrepreneurship, which promises independence, often becomes just another form of servitude, this time to customers and investors instead of bosses. And while you're stuck in this cycle, consumer culture swoops in to keep you distracted. Advertisements constantly remind you of what you don't have. Buy this car, and you'll finally feel successful. Upgrade your phone, and your life will be complete. But here's the catch. Consumerism isn't designed to fulfill you. It's designed to keep you chasing. The more you consume, the more dependent you become on the very system that creates these desires. Even media plays its part in this cycle of dependence. News outlets, social media, and entertainment bombard you with messages that reinforce the status quo. They tell you what to fear, who to admire, and what to aspire to. These narratives create a false sense of security, making you feel like you're informed and in control when, in reality, you're being fed carefully curated content to keep you passive. The system also thrives on fear of failure, fear of standing out, fear of losing what little you have. And so, most people settle. They stick to the script, clinging to the comfort of the familiar even when it's suffocating. The idea of breaking free feels too risky, too overwhelming. But here's the brutal truth. The comfort zone you've been placed in isn't a sanctuary, it's a trap. It keeps you from realizing your potential, from questioning the system, and from taking the risks that could lead to true freedom. This is why most people remain stuck, unable to escape the cycle of dependence. Breaking out of this system isn't easy. It requires questioning everything you've been taught and taking actions that feel uncomfortable, even terrifying. But the first step is recognizing the trap for what it is. Once you see the cycle, you can begin to disrupt it. So ask yourself, are you living in comfort or are you living in control? Because the two aren't the same. In a world designed to keep you weak and dependent, Friedrich Nietzsche offers a radical alternative: the will to power. This isn't about dominance over others or sheer physical strength. Instead, it's about realizing and embracing your inner potential to rise above the limitations imposed by society. Nietzsche's philosophy is both a challenge and a call to action, a blueprint for escaping the shackles of mediocrity and finding true personal freedom. The will to power starts with rejecting the comfort of the herd mentality. Society thrives on conformity because it's easier to control people who think and act the same. Nietzsche famously criticized this as slave morality, a value system that glorifies obedience, humility, and submission under the guise of morality. In contrast, the will to power encourages you to rewrite your own rules and create values that reflect your unique potential. So, what does this look like in practice? Imagine you're stuck in a dead-end job or a stagnant routine. Most people accept this as normal, convincing themselves it's the best they can do. They stay in their comfort zones because the thought of failing or taking risks is too frightening. But Nietzsche's will to power pushes you to question that narrative. Why settle for less when you're capable of more? This philosophy isn't about waiting for opportunities, it's about creating them. Nietzsche believed that every individual has untapped strength and creativity waiting to be unleashed. But tapping into it requires stepping into discomfort, embracing challenges, and even facing your fears. Growth comes from struggle, not from avoiding it. Here's a relatable example. Think about someone who dreams of starting their own business but holds back because they're afraid of failure. Society reinforces this fear with messages like, play it safe or stick to what you know. But Nietzsche would argue that true fulfillment lies in taking that risk, in pushing beyond the boundaries of what feels safe. The act of pursuing that goal, regardless of the outcome, is an expression of the will to power. The will to power also involves redefining success. Society often measures it by external markers, wealth, status, approval from others. But Nietzsche urges you to look inward. True success comes from living authentically, aligning your actions with your inner values and striving toward your highest potential. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, not the version others expect you to be. Of course, breaking free from societal constraints isn't easy. It requires self-awareness, resilience, and the courage to stand alone. Nietzsche recognized that the path to individuality can be lonely and even painful, but it's in this struggle that you find your true strength. The herd might offer comfort, but it will never offer freedom. The will to power isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a mindset shift. It's choosing to view obstacles as opportunities, fear as fuel, and failure as a stepping stone. It's understanding that the greatest battles you'll ever face are the ones within yourself, the battle against doubt, insecurity, and the temptation to settle. Nietzsche believed that the individuals who embrace the will to power become creators. They shape their own lives instead of letting society dictate their path. These individuals don't just break free, they inspire others to do the same. Their strength becomes a beacon for those ready to leave the herd behind. So ask yourself, what's holding you back? Is it the fear of stepping out of line, the comfort of the familiar, or the weight of societal expectations? Whatever it is, Nietzsche's philosophy challenges you to confront it head-on. The will to power isn't about waiting for permission or approval. It's about reclaiming your life and unleashing your true potential. And the best part, once you start walking this path, you'll realize the chains that once held you weren't as strong as you thought. You might think you're living life on your own terms, but how much of what you do is really for yourself? Society has a sneaky way of shaping our decisions without us even realizing it. For instance, think about how much time you spend worrying about what others think of you. Do you find yourself constantly seeking approval, whether it's through likes on social media, compliments from peers, or recognition at work? This constant need for validation can be a sign that your choices are being dictated by others' expectations rather than your own desires. Then there's the pressure to follow the traditional path. Go to school, get a stable job, buy a house, and settle down. While there's nothing wrong with these goals, ask yourself, did you choose them or did you inherit them from societal norms? Are you working in a field you're passionate about, or are you stuck in a job that feels safe but unfulfilling because it's what's expected? Think about how often you say yes to things you don't want to do just to avoid disappointing others. Whether it's attending events you have no interest in or taking on extra responsibilities at work. This tendency to prioritize others' needs over your own can slowly erode your sense of self. Are you living a life that reflects your values and passions, or are you merely trying to meet the expectations of family, friends, or colleagues? Consider how much of your happiness depends on external factors. Are you chasing material success or societal milestones because you think they'll make you happy? Do you feel anxious or empty when you're not meeting these benchmarks? This endless pursuit often leaves people feeling unfulfilled because they're chasing a version of success that doesn't align with their true selves. Lastly, take a moment to reflect on whether you've ever suppressed your opinions, dreams, or personality to fit in. Have you ever avoided speaking up because you feared judgment or rejection? Do you find yourself adapting to what's popular or acceptable, even if it doesn't resonate with who you are? These subtle compromises can be signs that you're living for others rather than for yourself. Recognizing these patterns isn't about self-blame, it's about awareness. Once you see where societal conditioning has taken hold, you can start reclaiming your life and making choices that truly reflect your individuality. And that's where the real transformation begins. Breaking free from the societal web of control doesn't require a sudden, drastic overhaul of your life. Instead, it's about cultivating a mindset of independence, taking deliberate steps toward reclaiming your individuality, and redefining what power means to you. Nietzsche's philosophy offers a roadmap for doing just that, starting with the concept of the will to power. At its core, the will to power is about striving to become the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. This doesn't mean dominating others. It means taking control of your own life and embracing your unique strengths and potential. Start by asking yourself, what do I genuinely want? Strip away the noise of societal expectations and think about the goals, passions, or pursuits that resonate with you, not because they're impressive or acceptable, but because they feel right. One of the first steps to reclaiming your power is to confront fear. Fear of judgment, failure, or stepping outside the norm is one of the most effective tools society uses to keep people in line. Challenge yourself to take small, calculated risks daily. Whether it's expressing an unpopular opinion, saying no to something you don't want to do, or pursuing a hobby that feels unconventional, these acts of defiance strengthen your inner resolve. Over time, you'll find that the fear of standing out begins to shrink and your confidence grows. Another strategy is to stop seeking validation from others. This doesn't mean cutting yourself off from relationships, but it does mean redefining the role they play in your life. Instead of relying on external approval to feel worthy, focus on building self-respect. Celebrate your victories, however small, and allow yourself to make mistakes without falling into self-doubt. Remember, your worth isn't tied to how others perceive you. Nietzsche also believed in the transformative power of struggle. While modern society often promotes comfort and convenience, real growth happens when you face challenges head-on. Embrace discomfort as a teacher, whether it's in the form of pursuing a difficult goal, having uncomfortable conversations, or confronting parts of yourself you've been avoiding. Each time you overcome adversity, you emerge stronger and more resilient. In a society obsessed with conformity, creativity is a revolutionary act. Find ways to express your individuality through art, writing, music, or even the way you approach problem solving. Creativity isn't just about producing something, it's about thinking differently and refusing to accept the status quo. When you create, you assert your uniqueness and remind yourself and the world that you are not just another cog in the machine. Finally, Nietzsche believed in the importance of creating your own values. Instead of blindly following societal norms, take time to reflect on what truly matters to you. Define your principles and live by them, even if they go against popular opinion. This is where true freedom lies, not in rebelling for the sake of rebellion, but in consciously choosing your path and walking it unapologetically. Breaking free from societal suppression isn't an overnight transformation. It's a lifelong process of self-discovery, courage, and intentionality. But with every small step you take toward reclaiming your power, you'll find yourself growing stronger, more independent, and more in tune with who you truly are. Society may have built a system to keep you weak and helpless, but the choice to break free is yours, and it's a choice worth making. Fear is one of the most powerful tools society wields to maintain control. It's subtle, pervasive, and often disguised as concern, tradition, or common sense. Fear of rejection keeps you seeking approval. Fear of failure ensures you never take risks. Fear of being different convinces you to blend in, to follow the rules, and to avoid stepping outside the lines society has drawn for you. These fears aren't just personal. They're systemic, woven into the fabric of everything from education to social norms to cultural expectations. They don't just hold you back, they keep you manageable. Think about it. How often do you hesitate to speak your mind because you're afraid someone might judge you? How many dreams have you put on hold because failing at them felt too terrifying? How many times have you suppressed your individuality because being too different felt risky? These fears don't just exist in isolation. They form an invisible cage, locking you into a cycle of self-doubt and compliance. And while they may feel deeply personal, they're by design, a system of control that ensures you never fully realize your strength. The truth is, fear thrives in the unknown. Society tells you that rejection will destroy you, that failure will define you, that being different will isolate you. But the reality is often the opposite. Rejection teaches you resilience. Failure is a stepping stone to growth. Being different is how you discover your uniqueness and power. The fears you've been conditioned to avoid are the very things that hold the keys to your liberation. For example, the fear of rejection keeps you tied to external validation. But what happens when you stop caring about fitting in? You begin to make decisions based on what you truly want, rather than what others expect. The fear of failure convinces you to play it safe, to avoid risks. But when you face it head-on, you realize that failure isn't the end. It's a lesson, a redirection, and often the beginning of something better. And the fear of being different? It's society's way of keeping you in the herd. But the moment you embrace your differences, you become unshakable because you're no longer trying to live someone else's life. Overcoming these fears doesn't mean you stop feeling them. It means you stop letting them control you. It's about taking small steps toward the things that scare you, starting that conversation, taking that risk, standing out when it feels easier to blend in. Each time you do, you chip away at the power fear has over you and you reclaim a little more of your freedom. Fear is society's way of keeping you in check, but it's also your greatest opportunity for growth. Every time you face it, you send a message to the world and to yourself that you're stronger than the systems designed to keep you weak. True empowerment doesn't come from avoiding fear. It comes from walking through it again and again until it loses its grip. Only then can you begin to live on your own terms, free from the chains of fear that society doesn't want you to break. Transformation is not a distant dream reserved for a select few. It's a choice you make moment by moment. By rejecting the forces that keep you weak, conformity, fear, and dependence, you open the door to a version of yourself that is untamed, unapologetic, and undeniably powerful. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy of the will to power isn't just an abstract idea. It's a call to action, a blueprint for reclaiming the strength that society has systematically tried to suppress. Imagine a life where your decisions are no longer dictated by fear or the expectations of others. You wake up every day with a sense of purpose, not to fulfill someone else's plan, but to create your own. You no longer seek validation because you've discovered that true worth comes from within. The opinions of the herd, the noise of societal expectations, they fade into irrelevance as you focus on what truly matters: your growth, your vision, your power. But transformation isn't just about breaking free from the chains that bind you. It's about building something greater in their place. Nietzsche's will to power is not about dominance over others. It's about mastery over yourself. It's the courage to confront your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. It's the audacity to stand tall in a world that tries to make you small. And it's the relentless pursuit of becoming the best version of yourself, not for approval, but because it's your birthright. This path isn't easy. It demands introspection, resilience, and a willingness to walk alone when necessary. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you embrace the will to power, you transform not only your life, but the way you see the world. Obstacles become opportunities. Setbacks become stepping stones. Fear becomes fuel. The choice is yours. Continue to live in the shadow of societal expectations, or step into the light of your own potential. The journey is yours to define, but the first step is clear: reject weakness, embrace strength, and take back the power that has always been yours. You are not helpless. You are not destined to remain in the chains that bind you. You are capable of more than you've been told, and the moment you claim that truth is the moment your transformation begins. Now it's time to ask yourself, will you remain a part of the herd, or will you rise above it? Will you continue to live for others, or will you finally live for yourself? The power to decide is in your hands. The transformation awaits, but only if you're willing to claim it. If you felt even the faintest spark of discontent with the life society has laid out for you, now is the time to fan that flame into a fire. Take a step back and question the norms you've been taught to follow. Ask yourself, who am I living for? What would my life look like if I stopped seeking approval and started seeking truth? The answers won't come overnight, but they start with a single deliberate step. Challenge the habits, routines, and beliefs that have kept you in place. Push back against the fear that tells you to stay comfortable. Reflect on what truly matters to you, not what you've been told should matter. Write it down, make it real, and start carving a path that belongs only to you. Transformation isn't passive. It's a challenge, a call to defy everything that holds you back. So, here's your challenge. Today, find one way to step outside the mold society has shaped for you. Say no to something that doesn't align with your values. Take an action that scares you just enough to remind you of your strength. The world won't hand you your power. You have to claim it. This isn't the end of the conversation. It's the beginning of a revolution within you. Now, what will you do with the spark?